Both weekends of the Black Ops 6 beta have come and gone now, and to be brief, the Black Ops 6 beta came and went far too quickly. I think it's a pretty good sign when a vast majority of the player base is disappointed that they have to go back and play the current Call of Duty title now that the beta's done, or rather just playing something else to fill in the time between the end of the Black Ops 6 beta and the full release. Players from around the world finally got their hands on the newest iteration in the Call of Duty franchise, and I think it's safe to say that this is the best beta we have had in a long time. In today's video, we are going to be dissecting the Black Ops 6 beta, looking at the good, the bad, and the outright ugly to break down the beta as a whole. Now, although I've already said that this is the best beta we've had in a long time, that's not to say that the past 2 weekends were without their fair share of issues. What people need to remember first and foremost is that the Black Ops 6 beta was exactly that, a beta. When you willingly play a beta, you're willingly playing the unfinished product of a new game. Now, although that game is of course close to completion, that's not to say that no changes will be made between the beta and the full release. To start off the breakdown of the Black Ops 6 beta, let's look at what was ugly, because to be completely honest, there wasn't very much that falls into that category. Spawn points have long been a point of contention throughout the Call of Duty community, and that is something that remains steadfast throughout both weekends of the Black Ops 6 beta. Depending on the map and game mode combo, players would sometimes spawn directly in the crosshairs of their enemies, causing them to meet their maker before they even get to take a step out of their spawn. Now, although these bad spawns weren't happening all that often, they were happening enough to become a point of contention for all of those that played the beta. Treyarch did know that they were going to be doing some spawn tuning between weekends 1 and 2 of the beta. Now, when weekend 2 rolled around, it did feel like there were some changes to those spawn points. However, it was still far from perfect. Look for Treyarch to commit to further spawn tuning before the full release of Black Ops 6 in a response to player feedback. Skill-based matchmaking has been one of the most hotly contested and controversial features in the Call of Duty franchise since it was first introduced a few years back. In Black Ops 6, it felt as though skill-based matchmaking still had an incredibly strong influence in the kind of lobbies you were being placed into. Even though many players are opposed to skill-based matchmaking, I don't see this as being one of the features that Treyarch decides to remove completely from Black Ops 6, although it is my hope that SBMM is turned down a notch before October 25th. Moving on to what was bad from the beta, although still tolerable, we'll take a look at the map pool that was available to players over the past 2 weekends. We didn't get to see all that many maps throughout weekends 1 and 2 of the Black Ops 6 beta, and 2 of those maps were definitely less than pleasurable to play on. I'm sure that you won't be surprised to hear that the 2 maps that I'm talking about are Derelict and Scud. Now, these 2 maps in particular, although they followed that 3-lane style that players have come to know and love, it felt as though these 2 maps did foster a playstyle that was definitely favorable for campers. Now, I doubt that much is going to be changed between now and the full release of Black Ops 6 to make these maps any better or to make them less favorable for campers. However, when Black Ops 6 is fully released and that map pool is at its fullest, I doubt that you're going to be spawning into these maps very often because, let's be honest, people are probably just going to vote for other maps in the map pool instead. Finally, taking a look at the good things throughout weekends 1 and 2 of the Black Ops 6 beta is where viewers and players alike are going to be able to find hope for Black Ops 6 because there are definitely a lot of good things to cover. Very quickly, I'm just going to say that map voting is something that is definitely good to see in Black Ops 6, especially because you do have maps that you're going to want to avoid, like I said, Derelict and Scud. When those maps are in a map pool and a map voting system, when the full release comes out, you're probably going to vote against it. I would be remiss to not mention the new feature in Black Ops 6 that effectively allows you to take an enemy player hostage and use them as a meat shield. Albeit this may seem like a small and inconsequential feature, this has quickly become a fan favorite feature and has already led to some fun moments, as the second you take a player hostage, game chat is activated between you and that player, and I gotta tell you, some of those conversations are pretty dang comical, and I can't wait to see what some players do with that feature when Black Ops 6 is fully released. Omni Movement took the Black Ops 6 beta by storm, as players were able to move around the map in ways that they have never been able to do in a Call of Duty before. Omni Movement feels both incredibly smooth and adds a new dynamic to gunfights, which is definitely something that's exciting because it adds new ways for players to challenge their enemies, which makes those gunfights that much more interesting. I mean, come on. You're telling me you don't want to challenge an enemy that's around a corner by dolphin diving sideways around that corner? Maybe you're dolphin diving down a set of stairs and turning around midair and gunning your enemy off the top of that staircase. I mean, come on. That feature is something that is going to be incredible moving forward. Now, Omni Movement is definitely something that players are going to have to get used to, as the use of this new movement system definitely comes with a pretty steep learning curve. Thankfully, in the Black Ops 6 beta, there was an Omni Movement training course which I personally took advantage of so that I could learn the new tips and tricks to master this new movement system. That being said, when players are able to master Omni Movement, it's going to make for a far more smooth and dynamic gunfight system than we have ever seen in the franchise before. Very early on, people were jokingly calling Black Ops 6 Jackal Ops 6 due to the sheer dominance of the Jackal SMG in the weapon meta. Now, you might be asking why I'm including that in the good section of my Black Ops 6 beta review, and that is because between weekends 1 and 2, a new meta emerged, not only because of the introduction of the Tanto 22, but also the nerf of the Jackal. Now, although the weapon meta still did feel a tad unbalanced in weekend 2, I'm putting this in the good category because the weapon tuning between weekends 1 and 2 speaks to the dedication of Treyarch to listen to the player base and make changes that the community wants to see, changes that the community themselves feel will make the game better. A lot of people may disagree with this statement, but I feel as though the introduction of the new Sleeper Agent perk/feature was a great decision by the development team. Although it may be pretty annoying to be taken out by someone you thought to be on your team, the added dynamic of having to sniff out a mole in your ranks definitely makes for some interesting encounters. Thankfully, there were some perks that did counter the Sleeper Agent feature, making that feature feel somewhat balanced, and I would definitely expect some more tweaks to be made to that feature before the full release of Black Ops 6 so that it feels just right without feeling incredibly overpowered or anything like that. Combining a lot of the factors that we saw throughout weekends 1 and 2 of the Black Ops 6 beta make this beta, like I've already said a few times, the best beta that we have seen in a long time. Treyarch has made it abundantly clear that they are going to be listening to player feedback, they are going to be focusing on player feedback, and they are going to be making changes that reflect player feedback so that Black Ops 6 has the ability to flourish into the title that everyone wants it to be. It may be a little early to make this statement, but I'm doing so with a ton of hope. Black Ops 6 is going to be the best Call of Duty title we have had in a long time. No beta has felt as good as the Black Ops 6 beta, and the hype that has been building around the full release of Black Ops 6 on October 25th is definitely warranted. Now, I'm sure that plenty of changes will be made between now and the full release of Black Ops 6. Now, although these changes aren't going to please everyone, I have a strong feeling that these changes are undoubtedly going to be for the better of the game as a whole. Will Black Ops 6 stand the test of time and outlive the Call of Duty titles of years past? That is of course yet to be seen, but if I were to pull out a Magic 8 Ball and ask the Magic 8 Ball that question, I have a really strong feeling that it would show signs point to yes. With the full release of Black Ops 6 just about a month and a half away, be sure to keep your eyes peeled for further updates from the development team as we move forward into the newest era of Call of Duty. But yeah guys, that is effectively going to wrap up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop a like and comment on it down below. Comment below what your thoughts were on the Black Ops 6 beta and any changes you want to see made between now and the full release of the title. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of my content. But yeah guys, other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and that's been it. Peace.